Today we're going to be talking about something that really applies to our life, simple interest. Does anyone know when you might use interest or what interest might be?
Like money towards you borrow money.
Okay.
Bank.
When you borrow money from the bank? Okay. Anyone else have any idea of what interest might be? What do you think?
When you borrow money, but you kind of give back
That's what I was
a little
thinking.
bit extra.
Okay. When you borrow money, you have to give a little bit back. All right. These are good ideas. So let's write these down. These are a few vocab words that you're going to want to know. First of all is the principal. That's the amount of money deposited. So if you deposit money, you're sticking it into the bank, okay? Or if you have to borrow money from somebody, that can also be your principal. The interest is going to be the amount of money that you make. So if you deposit it into the bank, you make interest. That's going to be extra money you make. But if you borrow it from the bank, then it's going to have to be the extra money that you pay back to the bank, okay? The next thing is the rate. What is the rate? It's the percentage. The main thing that you've got to remember is to change it to a what? Change it to a decimal, okay? The time will always come out in years. So this right here is a formula that I want you to have memorized. Interest equals principal times rate times time, which basically is abbreviated I equals PRT. So let me give you a little bit of a problem that you might see in real life or even on your homework tonight. Okay, so a problem that you might have says a $500 deposit earns 6% simple annual interest for 4 years. So you can kind of see here the principal, the amount of money that they deposited or that they borrowed is $500. So you can see normally it would be I equals PRT. So you can see this right here, $500 is my principal. The 6% that you've got up here for the rate, you always have to change it to a what? A decimal, so you can see it right there, change to 0.06. And then the years, for the T, always make sure the time is in years. So you can see right here that they multiplied it by a 4. How much interest did they make when they put it in as $500? In 4 years, how much interest did they make? $120. So if I asked you to tell me how much money do they have now, how would I find that? They had $500, they made $120 in interest. So how much do they have now? 620, because you add together what they deposited and how much they made, $620. All right, so write this down for me. For an account that earns simple annual interest, find the interest and then the balance of the account. Okay, so the first problem says $500 at 3% for 1 year. So let's just start off with our formula. The interest equals the principal times the rate times the time. So I equals PRT. Now we're going to try to figure out what we already know and what we don't know yet. So I equals, P equals, R equals, and T equals. This is just going to help us to set up our information so that we can easily figure out what we don't have and what we need to figure out. So do I know my interest right now? My interest. Do I know the interest? No. It's unknown right now, so I'm going to leave that blank. Do I know the principal? What is it? Okay, $500. So we know that I am depositing $500 into the bank, okay? Do I know the rate? What is the rate?
0.03.
Give it to me as a percentage. 3%. Okay, so I know it is 3%, and do I know the time? 1 year. Okay, so just put it as a 1. So now let's go ahead and start plugging things in. I don't know the I yet, equals PRT. The P, I'm just going to plug it in. It's $500. The rate, now let's change it to a decimal. What's 3% changed to a decimal? 0.03. And the time? 1. Pull out your calculators and just go ahead and plug this into your calculators for me, please. 500 times 0.03 times 1. What's the interest, guys? 15. Good job, okay? Don't just write 15. It will always be wrong. $15, because interest is always going to come back to you as a dollar amount, okay? Now, it asked me in my instructions to find the interest, and we did find the interest, but now it also says to find the what? The balance, okay? So if they put in $500 and they made $15, what's the new balance? 515. How'd you get 515? Okay, you add your principal right here plus your interest. So $500 plus $15 equals $515. So I want you to box this in because it asked us to find both the interest and the balance. Let's look at problem 2. Somebody deposits $450 at a 4% rate for 6 months. So let's start with our formula once again. What is my formula? I equals PRT. So now let's figure out I, P, R, and T. Do I know what my interest is right now?
No.
I do not. Do I know what my principal is? What's the principal? Okay, $450. If you remember, your principal is always going to be the amount of money that you either deposited or that you borrowed. Okay? What's my rate?
4%.
They got it at 4%. What's my time?
6 months.
Okay, now if you remember in our notes, it said that the time had to be in years. Did it give me the time in years? No. So 6 months is out of a year. How many months are in a year? How many months are in a year? 12, okay? So 6 months out of 12 months. What is 6/12? A half. Okay? So my time is a half of a year. So now I'm going to start plugging things in once again. I equals PRT. I don't know my I. My R, or my P is $450. My rate has to be changed to a decimal. So what will that be? Okay, 0.04. And what's my time? Half of a year. How much was the interest? $9. Remember, your interest will always come out as dollars. But in my instructions, once again, I found the interest. Now I have to find the balance. What is the balance?
$459.
Okay, how'd you find that?
Adding the interest and the principal.
Okay, you add the interest and the principal together. So it was $450 plus $9, and you get $459 for the balance. Any questions on the second one? Okay, let's try a story problem. Number 3. Tim's parents lend Tim $250 so he can buy a radio-controlled airplane. They charge Tim 7% simple annual interest. What will be the total amount that Tim will owe his parents in 1 year? All right, so let's imagine here. Tim did not have enough money to buy the radio-controlled airplane he wants. So who did he borrow money from? His parents. How many of you have ever borrowed money from your parents before? Okay, did they make you pay it back with interest? No. So maybe Tim's parents were having a bad day. I'm not sure. But they charged him 7% annual interest, okay? So we're trying to figure out how much he's going to owe them in the end. We know we got to start off with I equals PRT. Do I know my interest?
No. 250. Oh, your interest.
Okay. Do I know my principal?
$250.
$250. What's my rate? And what's the time?
1 year.
Okay, 1 year. So now I just got to go in and start plugging in my things here. So I've got I equals $250 times the percentage turned to a decimal is
0.07.
0.07 times 1. Okay, when you do that, what's your interest?
$17.50.
Okay, be careful. This is what I saw some of. 17.5. I will not accept that as an answer. 17.5 is not a dollar amount. What should it be?
$17.50.
Okay, $17.50. Now, that is not the answer because the answer says what will be the total amount that he owes his parents in 1 year. So at that point, you've got to take his principal, which he borrowed $250, plus the extra that his parents made him pay equals how much money, guys? $267.50. Now, once again, I had some people who got this as their answer. If you tell me the answer is 267.50, it will not be correct. What are they missing? The dollar sign. Don't forget that dollar sign because this is how much money he will owe. You put $750 into a certificate of deposit, okay? So you're putting that into the bank. Your simple annual interest rate is 4%. You receive a check for the interest at the end of each year. How long will it take you to earn $150 in interest? So, like always, we're going to start with our formula. What's the formula? I equals PRT, so the principal times the rate times the time. Now all we're going to do is we're going to try to start figuring out what it is that we know and start plugging it in there, okay? Do I know what the interest is?
No. Yes, you do. What?
I do. What is it?
Oh, you're doing it backwards.
$50.
Okay, we're doing it a little different than we did it before. It does tell me you earned $150, okay? So that amount of money that you earned is your interest. Does it tell me the principal?
Yes.
Yes. $750, that's how much I put in there to start with. Does it tell me what my rate is?
Yes.
What is it?
4%.
4%. Does it tell me the time?
Yes.
No. The question is, how long is it going to take me to earn that much interest? So now our problem is looking a little bit different because I've got different things to plug in. So once again, I'm going back here to my original formula that I had. I equals PRT. Do I know the I?
Yes.
What is it?
$150.
$150. Equals, do I know the P?
Yes.
What is it?
750.
Okay, do I know the R?
Yes.
What is it?
0.4.
Okay, thank you for telling me it changed to a decimal. Do I know the T?
Oh,
You
no.
said 0.4.
Yes.
I don't know, 0.04, it's okay. I do not know my T yet. I don't know the time, okay? So that's what I'm trying to figure out. So right now, we've got to kind of figure out what this answer is right here. So I want you to tell me what $750 times 0.04 is.
$30.
Okay, $30. Now I've still got $30 times T equals 150. Now this is just going back to regular algebra that we've been doing a ton. I always want to get the variable by itself. How do I get the variable alone?
Divide by 30.
Divide by $30. If I do it to one side, I have to be fair and do it to the other side too. Okay, so this is the same idea that we've been learning, and this is going to give you your T, or your time. What is the T?
5 minutes.
Okay, 5. Now, whenever it doesn't say anything in the problem about years or months, it's always coming out as years, unless it tells you differently, okay? So your time for you to earn $150 is going to be 5 years. So notice we just did that a little bit backwards, okay? So you just got to be careful. Use your formula, plug in what you know, and then always try to solve for the variable. If you deposit $1,500 into an account that earns 4% annual interest, what will the account's balance be after 9 months? What's my formula I'm going to start with?
I equals PRT.
Good job. Okay, so now I'm going to start plugging things in to see what it is that I already know. Do I know my interest?
Yeah.
What's the interest?
4%.
Okay, now here's the deal. I know this can be tricky because it says 4% annual interest, but interest will always come out as a dollar amount. What's always going to be the percentage? Which one of those? The rate, okay? So don't get tricked up just because this word interest is right there. That is not your interest. Your interest has to be a dollar amount. So do I know my interest? Not yet. Okay, do I know my principal?
Yes.
What is it?
1,500.
$1,500. That's the amount of money that I'm going to deposit or borrow. Do I know the rate? 4%. Remember, your rate will always be a percentage. Do I know the time? 9 months. Can I plug in a 9 right there? No, because the time has to be in years. So 9 months is the same thing as 9 months over 12 months. That reduced would be what? 3/4, okay? So let's see if we can find out what the interest is. I equals P times R times T. So what's my P?
1,500.
1,500 times
0.04.
0.04 times 3/4. Put that into your calculator for me to find what the interest would be. Now remember, when you're plugging it into your calculator, you can do 1,500 times 0.04 times, and then you can hit that fraction button right there and stick it right into your calculator as 3/4. When you do that, what do you get?
$45.
$45 is the interest. Now, I'm going back just to make sure. it says, what will the account's balance be? So it's not just wanting the interest, it wants the balance.
$1,545.
Okay, so you have to take your principal and add together your interest. And when you do that, you get, what was it, guys?
$1,545.
$1,545 is the account's balance after 9 months, okay? How many of you guys would say that you have a savings account? Okay? If you put money into that savings account now, you will earn interest. It doesn't get tons of money right away, but over time, you get more and more money. So it is smart to invest your money and stick it into a bank account, okay? So this is hopefully a practical lesson, something that you guys can apply to your lives. Tonight, I'm just giving you 7 homework problems, so I want you to pull out your piece of paper to write this assignment down for me, please. Once again, just 7 homework problems for tonight.